Hello, boys and girls. We have day 5 here in our content packet. Today, we're going to basically go over everything we learned this week in our unit, and you're going to take a little bit of a quiz to see what you remember. And before you do that, though, we're going to do what's called the missing resources practice page. So let me show you what that is, and it's all about the information you learned yesterday. So if you need to go back into your packet, these pages here, and review some things that we talked about there, or if you need to go back up to your little table charts we made here, you can do that too. But I want to go over this missing resources page because it's pretty fun. Here's how it works. So you're going to identify which civilization and situation is being described. What I mean by that is, look at the top. It says China, and the situation is selling rice to eat. So first identify that. And then I want you to think about what resources would be needed to make that situation possible. So basically, what do you need to do that job? If that was you, what would you need? Be as specific as you possibly can. So we're going to do this one together right here, the selling rice to eat, to kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So we're going to identify a natural resource, a human resource, and a capital resource that we would need in China to sell rice to eat. So let's think about a natural resource we would need. Well, how do we get rice? We have to grow it. It's a plant. So we might need soil. And you could stop there, but I know I need more than just soil. I know I need water to get to the rice, and I need sunlight. So that's 3 examples of natural resources. Let's move on to the human resource. I know a couple humans involved in this process. I know one human would have to actually grow the rice, and that human would be a farmer. But maybe the farmer isn't the person who's trading it or selling it. Maybe we would need a trader to do the trading for the farmer. Let's think about some capital resources. Remember, capital resources are tools to use, goods that are being made, or places where this is happening. So I obviously know farmers need a lot of tools, farming tools. I don't have to be, I don't know exactly what kind of farming tools they used back then, but I know they needed something. And they also probably needed, baskets to hold the rice in. They probably needed some sort of animal to carry the rice to wherever they were trading it. But I do know that they would need farming tools for sure. So that's kind of my think aloud on how I would go about doing that. You're going to do it for these other scenarios here: Egypt, Greece, Mali, Rome, and even America, where we live. I will go ahead and make some examples for you. You do not have to have the same answers as me, as long as you're understanding how I want you to apply our knowledge here. That's all that I care about. So go ahead and pause it, work on this for a while, and come on back to look at my examples if you care to see them. Okay, here's my example for Egypt. And in Egypt, you were to be trading fish at the market. So I know a natural resource we would need to catch the fish is the Nile River in Egypt. That's where we would be catching the fish. A human resource would be the fisherman, and a capital resource that fisherman is using would probably be fishing nets or some sort of fishing equipment like fishing poles or things. But I know they use a lot of nets to catch fish. Okay, in Greece, we are making ships to travel on the Mediterranean Sea. Those have to be big, tough ships. A natural resource that we have to use to make the ships are trees. And I said lumber because that's what we call the wood after it's been manufactured to be perfect. Human resource would be our shipbuilder, or maybe our lumberjack who is cutting down the trees. And a capital resource that they would need to put those ships together would be probably hammers and nails, many other things too. But that's my example there. For Mali, we are going to be trading salt. We have the salt, and we're going to be trading it for a boat. So, a natural resource obviously would be salt. We have to use the salt to trade to give to somebody for the boat. The human resource would be a trader, the person who's actually making the trade and talking to the other person. And some tools we would probably use, well, we would have to get the salt out of the ground somehow, and those mining tools would come in handy for that. Another human resource we would need in this situation would be a miner to get the salt out of the ground. If you were talking about the boat, yeah, the boat would be in the situation too. So maybe you want a different route with that. In Rome, we're going to be making olive oil to trade at the market. So the natural resource, how do we get olive oil? Well, olive oil doesn't come just from the ground. It actually comes from olives. So we would need the olive tree. And the human resource would be the farmer. Maybe you chose the trader, or maybe whoever makes the olive oil. I don't know what they would be called. And the capital resource, the thing we're making, the good we're making, is olive oil. But there are other capital resources that the farmers would need to pick the olives off the trees, or baskets to carry them, or a place at the market. The market would be the capital resource too, because it's the place where it's happening. Our last example was here in America. Currently, if we were to build a home for people, we would need a natural resource. That would be our lumber. Also, other natural resources like sand and water to make concrete for the foundation of the house. Human resource would be the builder. Now, there's many people involved in building homes: the contractors, the electricians, the plumbers, the masons. Everybody is involved in making a home. But I just said builder because I didn't want to exclude anybody. And the capital resources that that person would use are obviously the building supplies. Anything that is used to make that home is a capital resource, and the home is also a capital resource. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you're not too confused. And I'm going to show you what your last task will be. All right, so it says your last task in the packet is this assessment, economics assessment number 1. And it looks just like kind of like a power test. And what it is just some questions to review and see what you picked up over the course of this unit. I know that it's not as easy as if we were in class, because a lot of things are easier when we're all together, but this isn't for a grade. I just wanted to give this to you to practice taking tests so you don't forget. Look at the keywords, look at all of the choices before you choose anything. Think back, see what you remember. You can even use any materials that you have. Use your packet, use your notebook packet, use anything you need to do. I just wanted to make this a nice review to kind of solidify everything so we can move on to the next one. But you have these 2 weeks to complete this, so this does not have to happen ASAP. You can take as long as you need, and I will find a way to post some answers so that you guys can check yourself. I know you love to know how you do on things. So thank you for being so hardworking and determined and flexible during this. I hope you learned a few things about goods and services and consumers and producers and resources and all that jazz. It's very important in our world, and it's very important that you know how it works. So thanks for being such great students. I love you. I miss you, and I will see you next time.